Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins.
And I'm Paul Hankins.
I'm Trevor Hankins.
And tonight we're going to talk about most of the Fourth Doctor Who.
Yes.
We've been watching the series for several months now. And we kind of got into it because my wife was a big fan, and we bought these Blu-ray sets, and we finally had enough to start. Actually, had season one was not the first Blu-ray set they put out, so we had to wait till that came out really to get going.
Yeah.
Season 2 is coming out in January, and we don't want to wait that long to talk about it. And we had another season we bought on DVD.
Yeah. We only saw one story from season 2.
Right.
Yes.
Before we get too far into it, I suppose we should explain who the Doctor is.
Okay.
He is a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey, and he can travel anywhere in time and space with the TARDIS, and he usually ends up freeing or helping oppressed people.
Right. Perfect.
And although he can travel anywhere in time and space, with some exceptions as the series goes on, he usually ends up in 20th century Earth.
A lot of things in England. Yes, I actually did some shooting down in Paris.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and it was kind of interesting to watch them run around the streets. But that's getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So, the Fourth Doctor is
Tom Baker.
right, and he did this. I don't know for what 7 seasons.
Yes.
What they call series over there.
Yes. Although interestingly, with Classic Who, they were labeled as seasons.
Right. Okay.
We have most of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got into it. I guess he's regenerating
Yeah.
from the second Doctor. So
From the
third
Doctor.
Doctor. Sorry. Do we want to talk about who the first 3 Doctors were?
We should acknowledge them. The first Doctor is William Hartnell.
Mm-hmm.
Second Doctor is Patrick Troughton. And the third Doctor is John Pertwee.
Oh wow, very good. And the 5th Doctor is
Peter Davison.
all right. Which we ended up watching a little bit of that to finish the storyline.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite thing about Doctor Who?
Also, the Doctor is usually accompanied by at least one companion.
We'll talk about the companions, but
Yes. Well, Doctor Who, it has I like how it approaches sci-fi.
mhm.
There's a lot of creativity with the premise, and what's unique about watching Classic Who is even though it can get pretty silly at times, either in the storytelling or in the cheap special effects, they still manage to get you invested in the story.
Yeah, and a lot of that I think comes down to Tom Baker as the Doctor.
In this case, yes.
I mean, and there may be I don't think other Doctors have early Doctors I'll say have as big of a fan base as he does.
Helped with Tom Baker, he had 7 seasons.
Yeah, and I think he was the first one they were showing over here.
Yeah.
So,
From our understanding.
yes. So, but I mean, he's like the Doctor for a lot of people, and I know that David Tennant and all these other people have been the Doctor since. But
Yeah.
when you mention the Doctor, his image usually comes to mind.
Yeah.
With his
His iconic scarf.
Each Doctor usually has like some sort of iconography associated with them. And in the case of Tom Baker, it's the scarf.
And then they kind of messed with that towards the end.
Maybe getting ahead of ourselves.
Yes, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, as Trevor mentioned, he traveled with companions.
Yes.
Which I guess, you need like a supporting character usually.
Yes.
So, the first one we saw was Sarah Jane Smith,
Yes.
which was played by Elizabeth Sladen.
Yes.
And then she was kind of a carryover, we believe, from the second Doctor.
Third Doctor.
Wow,
Stop
sorry.
doing that.
I can't count. Third Doctor.
Yeah.
And then they picked up a surgeon, Lieutenant Harry Sullivan, played by Ian Marter.
I
Martar or whatever.
trying to remember if he counts as a full companion or if he was a temporary
I
companion.
think he followed along for several, at least episodes. I don't know if he made it through a whole season or not.
I don't think he did,
Yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
early on he was with Sarah Jane most of the time.
Right.
I thought for however briefly Harry was in the show, he added to the dynamic pretty
Right.
well.
Yes.
And what do we think of Sarah Jane by herself?
I didn't have a problem with her. I know some people in the house did. But,
I didn't have too much of an issue with her.
Yeah.
I didn't have too much of an issue with her, but she was, I'll say, a little more reactive.
Yes, what we saw. But-
Yes.
And then she was popular enough that they did a spin-off series with her,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
we've not watched and probably never will. But she was obviously popular with the fan base, at least at the time.
Yeah, she is a very popular companion.
Yes.
My understanding is because she sort of changed what I looked this up.
Okay.
My understanding is she sort of changed what a female companion could be like.
Okay.
So she, my understanding anyway is that the earlier female companions could be more passive,
Right.
but she was more active.
Well, we were watching a little a animated
Yeah.
retelling of from the second Doctor.
Yes.
Phew. And at least the female companion in that seems like she's very, very reactive.
Yes. Like-
But it's hard to judge based on an animated.
Yeah.
Right.
Sarah Jane, I do remember there were times where she actively participated in what was happening.
Yes.
Yes, and then she gets dropped off at Earth, back at Earth.
Yeah.
To-
I wasn't trying to downplay Sarah J. It's just a lot at least some of the time she was more reactive.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say when she is dropped off,
Yes.
there is some fanfare around it.
Yes.
It's a big moment because she'd been with the Doctor for quite a while.
Right. And we don't know
And-
how long she was with the third Doctor.
Right. But he was dropping her off as sort of to protect her,
Yes.
because he had to go back to
Gallifrey.
Gallifrey and he didn't want her to be in danger.
Right. So it was a kind gesture. Which sometimes the Doctor he's overall a kind guy, but he can also be kind of brisk and abrupt and
Yeah.
talk in circles. And
He can be kind of a troll.
Yes.
you're not listening to me, but here's the answer.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to you. I think so. I always like it when the companion comes up with the answer and then he comes up with it 2 seconds later and it was his answer.
Before we address other companions, I want to bring up when he does go back to Gallifrey after dropping Sarah off. That is a rare story where he doesn't have any companions.
Right.
Yes.
He's just there kind of by himself.
Yeah, and I thought with that story they managed to do it pretty well, actually.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think he ultimately did still need the companion.
I think it adds something to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think with the situation was on Gallifrey was just sort of kind of his situation. He didn't really need a companion
Yeah.
for that part. But when you travel again, then he needed somebody.
Yeah.
And they gave him,
Leela.
yes, who he picked up on a planet that I think Earthlings had tried to settle or had failed, and
Yeah.
the civilization had sort of splintered.
Yes.
And she is one of the humans that's actually a
Yes.
tough woman.
Yeah, it's the Seva team and the Tesh.
Yes. But it turns out it was it's like, I guess minor spoilers. Was like over time, it was actually sort of a mangling of survey team and tech,
Right.
like technicians.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They crashed apparently. at the
Yeah.
beginning, and so yeah, so they got splintered. And she was a really tough
Yeah.
warrior who
Yes.
happened to be a woman,
Yes.
which is kind of ahead of its time as far as
Yeah.
that kind of story.
I actually really liked her dynamic with the doctor.
Right.
Is she was a little more quick to like the violent solution. Like
punch
she got stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah, she took the prisoners, yeah,
Yeah.
as it were. And then we also pick up. Now, they came across somebody who had K9.
Yes.
Now, was that on the planet, or was that
That was a later
okay?
story.
And then
Yes.
the doctor keeps K9
Yes.
when the other guy leaves.
The other guy sort of basically gives him canine.
Right.
Yeah.
And then K9 is this little robotic dog. We have
Yes.
a little tiny emblem of him. K9.
Yes.
Sort of this, and it's interesting that a lot of these cultures like, what is he? You know,
He's some kind of dog.
and in some places they didn't have dogs, so he was
Yeah.
like, this very,
What is this creature?
and he's super smart. I guess he's been fed a lot. His brain has been, his electronic brain has been programmed with a lot of information.
It's kind of a living supercomputer.
Right.
Yes.
And the doctor relies on him a lot
Yeah.
for things. And
K9 can do things that he cannot.
right. And then K9 is sort of this little battle thing you put out, and he will defend you until his battery runs out,
Yeah.
I guess.
He'll defend his master.
Right. He's very loyal.
Yeah.
And so the three of them travel for a while.
Yeah. I thought K9 added a lot.
Right.
Yes.
He's also like very quickly endearing.
Right.
Yes.
Now,
What helps the K9 was John Leeson
yes.
Yes.
as the voice.
Right.
In case we didn't say it, Leela is played by Louise Jameson.
We did not say that. So that's good. Give her credit.
Yeah.
Leela, yeah, they kind of tamed her down a little bit.
Yeah.
She wore kind of a revealing, I'll say, outfit at the very
Yeah.
beginning, and then they kind of toned it down.
Yeah.
Right. I think it was like behind the scenes, the first outfit was kind of falling apart, so they came up with a second outfit that
Right.
didn't look as good.
Yeah,
Just aesthetically, it didn't look as
yeah,
good.
yeah. And but
It
then
was too. The second outfit was too like white.
and then they would allow her to when they went to back in time to earlier in England history, she
Yeah.
could wear the outfits from that era too.
And she pulled it off pretty well, actually.
Which was
Yeah.
good.
Side note, I liked the consistency, or Leela pronounces tech as tesh.
Right.
At one point, she says like she's not a technician.
Well, that's you know what you know.
Yeah. I like Leela and the doctor were sort of foils
Yes.
for each other.
But she also protected him too. She looked out for him, I think,
Yeah.
as well. Is he looking out for her?
Yeah.
And then they get to some planet, and she decides to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she stayed on. She decided to stay on Gallifrey.
Was it
Right.
Was it Gallifrey? Okay. All right, so they go back to Gallifrey. He goes back to Gallifrey because he has to pick up the other Time Lord.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So she stays, and he is teamed up with Romana because they have to search for the key to time.
Right, and she's also a Time Lord.
Yes.
And she was played by Mary Tam,
Yes.
who was. She looked good in outfits, but you
Yeah.
kind of got the feeling that, you couldn't get her dirty.
I remember her first story, she had this very white outfit.
Right.
I think they were going for Ice Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they dropped that.
Yeah, and she became more of a active character.
Yeah.
But there was a part of, that was just very, like, a little standoffish or whatever.
Also mention K9. When Leela stayed behind on Gallifrey, she
Yeah.
also stayed with K9.
Right.
But K9,
Oh, yeah.
K9 was too popular a character, so they when the Doctor
Didn't he have a second K9?
I was going to say the Doctor goes back in the TARDIS. He sees there's this crate and it has K9 Mark II in it.
Which is basically K9 again.
Right. Right. Yes, and with the same qualities that K9 had.
Yeah.
Yes, that was kind of an interesting. They got rid of him, but there he is again. But
Yeah.
he was popular.
I
So,
think K9. I want to say K9 Mark II was a gift from the original K9.
yeah. So, Romana and the Doctor, that's a unique dynamic because they're both Time Lords,
Right.
and they both have different types of knowledge.
Right. But she also, one of the things about Doctor Who is that he kind of knows everything.
Yeah.
He goes to some planet and they have some sort of mechanism to give him electricity. He knows how that works.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's already been there before, not necessarily in the story we've seen, but
Yeah.
he's traveled someplace, he's already been there before once or something.
Well, like part of the storyline when he meets Leela is he had been on that planet before, and right,
Yeah.
and that there was this computer, and he his personality was somehow in the computer,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right,
or the computer took on his personality,
right,
and that messed things up.
right. Yes. Very complicated sometimes the stories are, and almost overly complicated. And then they have this very quick resolution. 'Cause you watch 4 to 5 or 6
Yeah.
episodes, and suddenly at the very end, it's all fixed.
Anyway, even though the Doctor seems to know everything, Romana had certain knowledge that he needed to help find
The key.
the key to time.
Right.
And they do find, because they need to find the key to stop the Black Guardian,
Yes.
Yes.
as tasked by the White Guardian. And then it kind of gets weird at the end. It turns out they're the same person.
Yes. Right.
So, he ends up, from that point onward up to a certain story, he travels randomly just so the Black Guardian can't track him.
Right.
And between seasons, Romana regenerates.
Yes, and comes back as looking like a character from one of the previous stories.
Yes.
Takes on her form,
Yeah.
which was Lala
Ward.
Ward. Sorry. Can't read my hand. It's so far down. Lala Ward. And she had been a character in another story.
Yes.
And so when Romana was regenerating, she took on her form. And then Lala Ward was on the show for couple seasons.
Yes.
Yes.
And
She had evidently had a lot of good chemistry with.
off-screen relationship.
Yes.
I think they get even married, but for a short time.
So I liked Romana 1 and Romana 2.
Right.
Yes.
But Romana 2 seemed more approachable,
Yeah.
Yes.
more kind of, I'll say, fun.
Yeah.
And you got a sense that there was a not a romantic relationship, but there was a little more to just the companionship
Yeah.
between the two of them.
Like they had a closer bond.
Yes, it
Yes.
felt like that.
Yeah.
And oh wait, they really did. But that was maybe apparently they didn't know each other until they met on the show.
Yeah.
So I guess good chemistry.
Yeah. And the seasons they're in happen to have probably some of the better stories overall,
Yes.
depending on who you ask. We can get into that
Yeah.
later. Then
But she decides very abruptly, as I recall, to stay.
yeah, her exit from the show was very abrupt.
And it was
Yes.
like, what? Yeah, they're trying to get off this planet, and she decides to stay and look for something that's been lost or
Yeah.
something. I forgot exactly
She was
what.
going to help these time displaced.
Right. And
people.
then K9 decides to stay too.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah.
He was one of the best characters.
They were trying to get out of at one point. They're in E space.
They're trying to get back to N space.
Right.
Yes.
It was just
And
technobabble for we don't know what we're talking
And
about.
they were sort of in between space.
Right.
yeah, so it was like, I'm staying. What?
Yeah. That seemed very abrupt. I was like, but I think, was ready to get off the show, and they kind of reimagined the Doctor a little bit with the
Yeah,
with
so
her
the
having-
last season was the oddest of his tenure because they changed producers to John Nathan Turner.
You can blame John Nathan Turner for certain changes.
He brought a lot of changes to the show. Started gradually phasing out stuff
Yeah, especially
because he was trying to take it in a different direction.
well, but the iconic color scheme got changed to all red or pretty much
Burgundy.
Red. Burgundy, okay. Dark red. And
You
he
can see on the cover of this set.
and he picked up a new companion. Actually, he kind of overlapped a little bit with
Yeah.
the end of Romana.
Yeah, while they were in E space, they pick up Adric, who is a stowaway.
Yes, but super smart kid comes from a planet or from an environment you wouldn't expect him to be that smart, but he
Yeah.
was.
He had a
star for mathematical excellence.
yeah.
He had a star for mathematical excellence.
He was played by Matthew Waterhouse.
Right.
And it took a little bit to warm up to Adric.
Yeah, he was kind of so stay here, and he would not stay.
Yeah, he was kind of impulsive.
Yes, and he was trying to always help the Doctor, but going off on his own sometimes and get into his own little troubles.
Yeah.
The Doctor would have to save him.
He sort of filled the technical role that K9 left behind.
To a certain degree.
not in the same way, but he could help with like fixing things.
Yeah, actually, he starts out, he's sort of part of this little gang of kids who end up on the TARDIS, and he figures out how to move it.
Yeah,
Not necessarily take it into space, but move it to another location on the planet.
yeah,
And so he was sort of like the one kid that was sort of like special, I guess, amongst
Yeah.
all the other kids. And he ends up stowing away, yes.
After they go back to N space, it's just him and the Doctor for a little bit
Right.
before they. Actually, he doesn't get the other his remaining two companions until the end
Yes.
in the final story arc. From the planet Trocken
Yes.
Wow.
is Nissa,
Nissa, yeah.
played by Sarah Sutton.
Who you kind of got the impression when they were on Trocken that she and Adric kind of had a little moment.
Yeah,
Yes.
She's sort of the daughter of the leader,
yes,
and maybe I consider it like a princess kind of a thing. And they're we won't get into the actual storyline, but he gets kind of dethroned, and they had a very odd sort of system of government.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, she gets sort of left on the planet. And then she kind of shows up, like kind of almost on her own.
Well, she
she
was someone. And was it the master brought her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone brought her
Well,
to.
Because the master takes on the form of her father.
Yeah.
And so she comes back, and the master's I haven't gotten to him yet. And then on her way to her first day on the job is Tegan, who is in England, but she's Australian,
Yes.
and she's on her job first day on a job to be a stewardess on an airline, and the car breaks down, unfortunately, right in front of where all this action is taking place.
Yes.
And she gets
Tegan is played by Janet Fielding.
and she gets kind of sucked into the story
Yeah.
and takes it very well.
Yes.
Yes.
Thrust into space, and she's concerned for a little while about getting back to her. I have a job to get to, but
Yeah.
then she's like, kind of goes with the flow. I was surprised how quickly she got over what the hell is happening to me?
Yeah.
And so it's the three of them when the Doctor regenerates.
Yeah. We then watched the first story of Peter Davison because I finished
The story arc.
Yeah, story arc. So from that, got to see more of how companions work together, or at least in that story it was more Nyssa and Tegan.
Yeah,
And-
Andrew gets
Yeah.
kidnapped. And the Doctor is sort of dysfunctional.
Well, because he's
It was an unstable regeneration.
Yeah.
yeah.
He gets
And-
better.
And I thought Nyssa and Tegan actually had a good dynamic.
Yeah,
Yes.
you get the impression that it was a rough regeneration because you took over from Tom Baker. It's just sort of, was it Davison? He
Yeah.
became the fifth Doctor.
So anyway, that's the companions.
Yeah, so they're interesting characters,
Yes.
and they fit into the stories, different storylines. What was your, or there may be multiple favorite storylines.
Right. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is City of Death,
Okay.
Yes.
which had the highest ratings in the series history because of ITV strike. And that wasn't on, so people watched.
Doctor Who, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in England, you basically had a choice of one or two BBC channels and ITV, which is
Yeah.
independent television. Now there's more choices, I believe, but not much.
And I still thought City of Death lived up to the hype,
Okay.
Yes.
as it was a good combination of, like, it was a serious story, but it also had the right amount of humor
Mm-hmm.
and drama, and it was also a unique storyline involving the Mona Lisa and creating copies,
Yes.
and a bit of time travel.
Yes,
That's
because
good.
he goes back and meets his old friend Leonardo da Vinci.
Or tries to.
Who's yeah. I don't think actually see him, do you? But he goes back because he knows him, apparently. And Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, if you didn't know that. So,
And a supporting character delivers the most important punch in history.
Yes.
yeah, a lot of these stories get a little kind of hard to follow sometimes, or you have to you know what I mean? They get very convoluted.
Yeah.
But that was a good one.
And that was from Douglas Adams' tenure on the show. Another
Yes, that Douglas Adams.
another Douglas Adams story I liked was ended up liking was Pirate Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was a very creative premise.
Yes.
It's like, we'll steal the planet.
Yeah, I read somewhere that Lala Ward said that her most rewarding experience on the show was working with Douglas Adams, as opposed to Tom Baker. But yeah, so he was, yes, that Douglas Adams, because he kind of didn't Hitchhiker's Guide come out of his experience working on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, actually. And I think another one was Genesis of the Daleks is a famous story.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that one got a Magic the Gathering card.
Yes.
We have a Dalek here somewhere, or two.
Yes. Grabbing Daleks.
Yes. But be careful, they bite.
Genesis of the Daleks is when we.
This is a doll.
To actually take it out of the wrapper. It's just like an ornament or something. So you put up on your tree because how much Christmassy can it be?
Alright, this is a doll.
Yes.
Which are killing machines, basically, to wipe out.
They're emotionless killing machines.
Right. But have some little weird thing living in them.
Yeah.
They're also available in plush.
Because, you want to get comfy with the dog.
In Genesis of the Daleks, we learn about the origins of the Daleks, as the name implies.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Genesis.
And we meet their creator, Davros.
Yeah, it was a weird looking dude.
Yes. But I think that story held up.
Yeah, and then
This.
that come back to the Daleks and Davros later, and they kind of they turn on Davros.
Yeah. This Genesis of the Daleks is interesting because at some point, couple reasons it's interesting is the Doctor at some point faces a moral quandary. Like, he is tasked by Gallifrey to go back and destroy the Daleks at their inception, but he can't bring himself to genocide an entire race regardless of
Right.
how they are. And then you also have like it's like Frankenstein meeting the monster.
Yes.
Like, Davros has this, like, creates the Daleks. It's like these perfect, emotionless killing machines, and then he didn't expect them to also want to destroy him. He tasked them with killing all inferior beings, the Daleks being the superior being, and the Daleks considered him inferior.
Yes. Which is that's kind of a story you see a lot of times about, the advances in technology, and it's part of the fear of AI is look at us as being inferior. That kind of, so that was kind of ahead of its time talking about that, but
Yeah.
that is kind of the basic fear of technology is if it becomes sentient, it doesn't need us anymore.
Yeah, and it does a really good job for the Fourth Doctor. It does a good job at setting up how threatening the Daleks really are.
Right. But the Daleks have been around in other shows before that.
Yes, and then they do actually, in a later Fourth Doctor story, is it Destiny of the Daleks?
Yeah.
They actually come back, and they're actually looking for Davros because they actually need
Right.
him.
So.
But it's interesting. Like, I created these beings to not listen to reason, and then why won't they listen to reason?
But it was a little bit of his intellect was put into them or something too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because Davros was kind of a sickly being creature.
Yeah, so I think those are among the better stories. Now, one interesting one is Shada,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yes.
that was like half animated.
Yes.
They couldn't finish it at the time because of a labor strike,
Yes.
so that was unfinished for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And then they eventually finished finished it with animation.
Right. And this,
And they brought back all of the surviving cast to record remaining lines.
right. It seemed to be, because we've come across that with another, we're actually watching currently an animated retelling of a story from the second Doctor. So
Yeah.
make sure I get it right.
In that case, in the case of Power of the Daleks, which is what that we're watching is, only the audio survived, so they had to.
Yeah. You get the impression they didn't know what they had.
Yeah.
And they probably taped over it or somehow lost the elements, which is an old, happened to all the Hollywood studios, lost a lot of stuff because they didn't really take care of it very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're trying to recreate some of the episodes. And apparently the version we have, they've actually improved on.
Yeah.
We made our choice.
We already had it. So.
Yeah. But anyway, I ended up liking Shada more than I expected to, considering it's like half.
Yeah.
The animation is a little janky, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
In the case of Shada, it's kind of interesting seeing what they were able to shoot.
Right.
Yeah. And then it was a little jarring hearing like younger Tom Baker and then suddenly older Tom Baker.
Yeah.
It
What was the one where they came back to sort of, current at the time Cambridge, and there was a doctor there, a Time Lord there.
That was Shada.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was a very interesting story.
Yes. The
And of
other,
course, he's already been there, and everybody kind of already knew him. But
there are other good stories,
Yes.
but those ones stood out to me. I will also mention, even though John Nathan Turner changed the direction of the show with the 7th season, it was surprisingly solid, and it wasn't completely devoid of humor like I was led to believe.
Yeah.
it wasn't as funny.
It wasn't as funny, but there were still moments of humor
Yes.
that they were able to get in, and there was a consistent theme throughout, like decay and rebirth,
Right.
which ended with the decay and rebirth of the Doctor.
Right.
Just-
The show is known for its low budget,
yes,
and it's
you love it anyway.
sometimes with a low budget, you can do things that if you could do it easily, you wouldn't do as well sometimes. But there's a set of episodes that is very low budget
Yeah,
and entirely green screened.
yeah. Underworld
Yeah.
was just an awful story all around. Easily one of the worst.
Like, the Fourth Doctor does have some weaker stories, but generally there's still like at least something there.
Yeah.
Underworld, it was just awful.
Right.
Like they green screen. It was green screen to death. Like there was almost no real background. And thus-
the FX were shoddy, like even by Doctor Who standards.
Yeah, and the storyline just didn't make any sense.
No, but they.
Because we're at the birth of a new planet. There's already a settlement underground.
Right. Yeah.
How did that happen? Then they do try to tie it back to Jason and the Argonauts at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because he sort of recounts the story really quickly, but it's a tenuous connection at best. About the Golden Fleece.
Is that the one where they would kind of go in and hollow out the planet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, wait, how is this happening?
Yeah. You throw a lot of, you can't really get too. I mean, it's science fiction and heavily fiction.
Yeah. Also mentioned the only season 2 story we had seen at the time of this was The Brain of Morbius. Just sort of the Doctor Who interpretation of Frankenstein.
Right.
Yes.
And we will see again when we get when the Blu-rays for season 2 are actually released next year.
Yeah. Anything else you want? Any other stories you want to mention?
No, there. It's a wide range of stories, mostly taking place on something similar to Earth. There was one they had.
Although maybe those just stand out more because of how often he goes there. He's just there's kind of a healthy mix of Earth and not Earth,
right? And then there was that one where they were in the lighthouse.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting.
Is that Horror of Fang Rock?
Yeah, probably. Is it?
Uh,
We're looking at a list of episodes. Showing why we went dead.
Might have been.
Well, if somebody out there's listening, they could correct us if we're wrong. But
Yeah, I think it was Horror of Fang Rock.
I kind of forgot what the purpose of it. It was all these people were being taken over.
yeah,
I was remembering at the end, that was a Leela story, and at the end of that one, her eye color changes.
yes, because there was an explosion, and she looked at it,
Oh,
and as a consequence, your eye color changed. And that was basically going back to her natural eye color.
yeah, she wasn't one of the contacts anymore. Probably.
Yeah.
But you get worked into the story.
Yeah, Horror of Fang Rock is the one with the lighthouse.
Okay, that
was interesting, trapped in one
it was a little
bottle
bit of,
episode.
Yeah, bottle episode, and a little bit of mystery, and don't go down the stairs. Oh,
There was a good amount of suspense.
right. Yeah, so it was kind of interesting. Kind of mixing genres in there a little bit better.
Yeah.
The Talons of Is it Wang Shayang?
Yeah.
Sure.
I might be butchering it. So I forgot how to say it. Whether or not it's depiction of Chinese people aged well, that kind of depends on who you ask. But it was otherwise an interesting period story. Leela looks really good in a period accurate outfit.
Yeah. Oh, that was the one back in Merry Old England.
Yeah.
And right.
The production values are actually surprisingly good.
Because they threw all the budget.
Except for the giant rats. That was dodgy. But it was still an interesting story regardless of...
Yeah. And again, sometimes the Earth stories kind of hang because you're kind of familiar, at least quasi-familiar with that. You know. But
it also has Deep Roy in it.
But they also have a lot of, obviously they go to some very desolate places to shoot planets sometimes.
Yeah.
It look like old quarries sometimes.
Yes.
And you get the impression that humans have spread out. In some cases, these are human settlements, Earth settlements, I should say.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're run well, sometimes they're not. All right. So, is there anything else you want to say about the show? Are you glad you watched it?
Yeah, I didn't expect to get as invested as I did.
I guess as we mentioned it before, sort of a testament to the show's legacy. It got represented as part of Magic the Gathering's Universes Beyond product line.
Right.
We have basically this is just part of it, we have more or less a complete set of the Fourth Doctor cards.
Anything even remotely related to the Fourth Doctor?
Yes.
Right. And now they're on their...
Even a food token based on the jelly babies that the Fourth Doctor likes to...
Now, we actually... we were at an English food store and we bought jelly babies. Then he never ate them during the part of the series we were watching. Because he was always offering someone a jelly baby.
Would you like a jelly baby?
And then I think the last season, which is when we had them, he never ate them again.
Yeah.
City of Death. So storyline City of Death so popular got its own card.
Yes.
What do you think of a jelly baby?
He's alright.
It's kind of a. It's not like a jelly bean,
No.
Yeah.
and they're kind of, but they're sort of sweet.
Yeah.
So, I just thought it'd be kind of fun to eat one when he was talking about it, but then he never talked about it.
Yeah.
It kind of bummed me out.
Man.
Yes. A sort of drinking game. A drinking game you could do is have a jelly baby when he offers a jelly.
And we actually have a Funko of him with holding jelly babies. What was this? So he's actually holding jelly babies somewhere in there.
Yeah.
His hand inside. You can't really see it very well. It was a Barnes & Noble exclusive. Now, of course, getting into this stuff after all the stuff's come out means you have to buy these stuff on eBay. We had to buy one of the one season that wasn't Blu-rayed.
Yeah, the Key to Time we got on DVD so we could keep the momentum going
Right.
without having to wait who knows how long.
Yeah, because if they're not putting them out in order, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
They're putting them out as popular, so if you don't want to get like watch season 5 and then go back to season 1.
Yeah.
Another funny thing about the Fourth Doctor is that his pockets are full of like all this like random crap.
And they were like, a little bit like Felix the Cat. You can pull out pretty much anything. And he had this magic kind of screwdriver
The sonic screwdriver.
that could open. There you go, I have a picture.
He actually uses it somewhat sparingly,
Yes, but
only
it
when he really needs to use it.
right. They can open pretty much anything.
Yeah, it can do a lot of stuff. It can't. There are times where he uses the screwdriver and it doesn't help him.
Yes.
Right, and every doctor has a different screwdriver. I
Yeah.
recall, because I remember the BBC used to have a shop at Comic-Con, and they had different screwdrivers for different doctors.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go over like every card,
Uh-huh.
but I will mention something interesting is that a scene, a moment from Shada got represented on land card.
Yeah.
They also sometimes they would get a little like paranormal.
Yeah.
There's kind of a lot of different genres got covered.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say like the earlier stuff with Sarah Jane could have more of a gothic horror vibe.
And then there was one where they went back to Earth, and there was the sort of ritual they were trying to do
Yeah.
with the statues or whatever, as I recall.
like when it starts off in something like medieval times, I first thought where are you going with this? Then when the doctor appears, before the doctor appears, it kind of makes sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like clicks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's how the doctor gets involved.
But before we close out, I do want to mention that there was an attempt to make a show for Canine.
Yes.
And,
Canine and Company.
Yeah, and it was Sarah Jane.
We that was a special on the
And
Blu-ray.
there's a term called failed pilot.
Yeah.
And that was like all over the place.
Yeah.
Trying to have a story, and
The theme song was crap.
not memorable, no. And
That's not that wasn't the only issue we had with it.
no,
The
no,
biggest issue was the pacing.
yeah, really slow.
Yeah.
And he kind of like and it just wasn't very well done.
Yeah.
So
I liked seeing K9 again,
Yeah,
but
they didn't really think it through, I don't think. As well.
no.
And then Sarah Jane had her own show,
Yeah. Sarah Jane Adventures.
right? And so, which we've never seen, but it was kind of interesting to see that they tried to put her back with, or link her up with K9, because I don't think they were ever together.
No.
Yeah.
And so anyway, someone she got it shipped to her. It was someone was missing. It was just not very well done.
No.
So I'm not surprised it didn't go forward.
No. But anyway, I would definitely recommend Doctor Who.
Yeah, and I would recommend. We would recommend. I think the Fourth Doctor.
Yeah.
We haven't really watched anybody else too much. We watched a few David Tennant ones, but
Yeah. I'm curious about watching David Tennant in earnest because he has some popular stories, and when
Like Blink.
yeah, like Blink for sure. When I was first kind of aware of Doctor Who, it was obviously modern Who, and people talked about David Tennant and Matt Smith a lot, but I was more interested in David Tennant.
yeah, we watched very few of the last Doctor.
Shruti Gatla.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
I committed the pronunciation of his name to memory.
Yeah, because it's sort of like throat wobber mangrove. It's pronounced luxury yacht. No, luxury yacht's pronounced throat wobber mangrove.
He's Scottish, but he is he's Scottish, but he is obviously of African descent.
Right.
Yeah.
And those really weren't that intriguing. I mean, the ones that we saw one was, of course, it was about the Beatles. We watched that one,
Yeah.
and it was kind of okay.
Yeah.
You know, they had a way bigger budget. You could tell.
Yeah.
Yes.
But just
Higher production values.
Yeah, but not as good as stories, I guess. At least the one.
I think you could probably just blame the writer on that.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
We also saw
Lux.
Lux because it had an animated antagonist,
Right.
and that one was actually
That
interesting.
was kind of interesting, and that was a little bit like Purple Rose at Cairo, but
Right.
evil. So if nothing. There's nothing new under the sun. But
Right.
it was also putting America in the 50s and not the best. Really.
Right.
Yeah. Very bigoted people in the South.
Right.
But anyway, that was actually pretty good. I was very unimpressed with the Beatle episode.
Yeah.
But
Because of how they handled the Beatles.
well, also it's like if they couldn't play, it was sort of like they didn't know how to write a song. So how'd you get a recording contract? You know what I mean?
Well, it was also there was
There was
a god of music.
Yeah, but it was like if music was that crappy, nobody would be listening to it. Anyway.
They get better.
Yeah. So, yeah, don't mess with the Beatles. Anyway, any final thoughts? You would recommend people watch it?
Yes.
Yes.
We'd recommend the Fourth Doctor because we probably spend most time with him.
Yes.
Yes.
I will say, although Classic Who is on Tubi, which is a legitimate way to watch it, we were going to wait until the Blu-ray to watch season 2 because we had already committed to the Blu-rays, and we didn't want to watch an entire season with ads.
We watched the first story with Davison,
Yeah,
Fifth Doctor.
because it was the one story that we
Right,
had to watch.
because we wanted to complete the story arc.
Yeah.
And it was like commercials would just come
Like mid-sentence,
Yeah.
and we don't want to deal with that for a whole season.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if they did a bit, I guess the problem was it was never designed to have commercials,
Yeah,
and
like that.
and they didn't do any sort of trying to edit it at a certain spot and had the blacks, which is what how you have a place
Yeah.
for the commercial breaks. They didn't do any of that. They just cut it off. And
Yeah.
So it wasn't that very well. The commercials weren't added very well. I'll
Yeah.
say that.
I just had a thought.
Sure.
When we at the start of the Fourth Doctor, feels like it kind of felt like a story was already in progress, but it's a little like Usagi Yojimbo, not like that's also kind of when a story already in progress when you start reading it, but you're still able to get invested in it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I guess one thing I remember when these were out on DVD, and there was like stories. It wasn't a whole season. They were really expensive. They were probably as much as buying a Blu-ray set
Yeah.
of the season is, and it was way overpriced. I think those DVDs, and scared me off from wanting to invest in it because they were just really high. But so it's good that they actually came back and did Blu-rays, and it's as high quality as it's probably ever going to get.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend the Blu-rays if you can find them and swing them.
Yeah.
This, also, Doctor Who, you can like start. You can just like pick a doctor and pretty much start there.
Right.
From
Yeah.
our experience, I would say with Fourth Doctor, probably a good Doctor Who story to start with in general would be City of Death.
Okay.
But ideally, you'd still start from the beginning.
Yeah, because you get all the characters being
Yes.
talked about, and they kind of come in a certain order.
Or if you just want to taste, try City of Death.
Right.
Yes.
It lives up to the hype.
All right.
So I guess that covers it.
I would think so.
Yes.
So if you are watching this on YouTube later and you like this, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, leave a comment below if you have any opinions of your own about the Fourth Doctor.
Also, if you want a silent fidget, looking for a silent fidget toy,
Yeah.
just trying to remember the spiel. If you're looking for a silent fidget toy, use our affiliate code Martin Eli to save 10% off your purchase at getona.com.
And that is at the bottom of the video. But the code is there. All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins,
I'm Paul Hankins.
I'm Trevor Hankins.
and you've been on the air with Power Squared.